Big Podcast.
Something I do on the side, and this is it's just kind of a fluke, really. Several years ago, I was doing a neighborhood project. I was trying to get more trees in the neighborhood, like street trees, people to plant trees, try to get our oxygen levels up so we can breathe better. And anyway, I got in on some neighborhood organizations, and eventually some guy's like, hey, do you want to run this, which is a Facebook group and moderating a next door group. All right. So fast forward to today, several years later, and I have become very aware of how whenever there's a neighborhood issue, you've got people, they act as one thing, like residents or concerned citizens or whatever, but there's more to the story. They're a real estate agent or a developer, or they've got a business in the neighborhood. My point is, when you're taking advice from someone, having a conversation with someone, whether it's about a neighborhood issue or something like podcasting, there are a lot of people with a dog in the fight that are not letting you know they've got a dog in the fight. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because there is some bad advice when it comes to podcasting. Always check the sources. Who's it coming from? Again, we'll be diving into it in this episode. It's Build a Big Podcast, a marketing podcast for podcasters. My name is David Hooper. BigPodcast.com is the website. My job is to help you do three things. One, grow your audience, get more people to your podcast, make money with your podcast. Also, make a podcast that matters. Man, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time, a productive time. Let's do something that's meaningful. As a podcaster, you've got an opportunity to do that. That is what this podcast is about, and that's what I do at BigPodcast.com. This episode is the audio edition of my weekly newsletter. It's called Big Podcast Insider. You can find it at newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 239. This is what I'm talking about. Audio versus video. How to read more books. A lesson for podcasters. Betty White versus Bea Arthur. A lesson for podcasters. You know Betty White and Bea Arthur, the Golden Girls? I got some secrets. If you want to be president, how often should you publish your podcast? What do you think of my podcast? This episode of Build a Big Podcast is brought to you by Riverside.fm, a virtual studio that makes recording and editing of the highest quality possible accessible to anyone. You're going to look and sound your best. That's because Riverside records you, your guest, your co-host, anybody who's on your podcast locally. That means you're going to bypass poor or unstable internet connections, and you're going to get studio quality audio and video. One of the things I like about Riverside, maybe the best thing, is it's going to let you record your podcast, edit your podcast, do all the production, but it also helps you market your podcast. They've got something called AI Magic Clips. It goes through your long-form audio, finds the most interesting parts of that podcast, chops it up in social media posts, quotes, things that you can use to go out, market your podcast, bring people to that long-form podcast. Everything you need to record, edit, and market your podcast is at Riverside.fm. I want you to try it for free. This is the deal. You go there right now. Riverside.fm. They're going to give you a couple of hours. Check it out. Kick the tires. Look under the hood. Do an interview. Do an episode. Do a couple of interviews. A couple of episodes. You have enough time to see if you like it. Use all the features, the AI magic clips, the editing, the local recording. If you do want to stick around, I've got a discount code for you. It's 15% off. Big Podcast. BIGPODCAST. That's Riverside.fm. Go there right now. Get the free account. Kick the tires. See how you like it. If you do, 15% off with the discount code Big Podcast. BIGPODCAST. All right, let's do this. I'm going from thing to thing to thing, all of them about podcasting. It can get a little bit confusing, so when I go from one thing to the next thing, you hear this. That's how you know. If you want more information, if you want links to the videos that I'm talking about, the audio, the photos, if you want to just see my written word, you can go to newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 239. Ready? Audio versus video. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about a dog in the fight. And there's a big discussion going on right now in podcasting. Is video better? Is audio dead? A well-known podcasting expert, he recently moved to YouTube. And by that, I mean focusing just on YouTube. And he said this, he said, the growth of audio podcasting has peaked. That is not true. This guy's trying to sell you YouTube stuff. Of course he's going to say that. Is YouTube an opportunity? Yes, absolutely. But There are millions of people who either prefer audio-first content or in daily situations, such as driving a car, where audio-only content is the only entertainment option. And there's plenty of growth available to you. It doesn't matter if, in general, audio-first podcasting is not growing. You know what else isn't growing? LASIK. You know what else isn't growing? Disposable diapers. In general, everybody who needs vision correction, they have already done LASIK. In general, everybody who wants to move from cloth diapers to disposable diapers, they have done so. There are still people who want vision correction. There are still nearsighted people, people with astigmatism, whatever, that want laser vision correction. And it doesn't mean that there are not babies being born with parents and caretakers who want the convenience of a disposable diaper. No, it's not growing like it did in the beginning when everybody was using cloth diapers and everybody and their brother had been waiting years and years and years for vision correction and it wasn't available, then it was. But that does not mean that there are not still a lot of people who have not taken the plunge. And the same is true for audio-first podcasting and audio-only podcasting. There are plenty of people in your market, people who are interested about what you are podcasting about, that are not aware of your podcast. Just because the general market is not growing does not mean that you cannot grow your podcast. So again, look who's telling you this. Most of the time, it's somebody who's selling you YouTube stuff or YouTube themselves. Oh, video is growing. Video is the way to do it. Yeah, you own YouTube, man. You're a video company. Of course you're going to say that. If you like audio-first podcasting, you're not the only one. If you want to keep producing audio-first podcast, there are people that want that content. By the way, speaking of a dog in a fight, if you want help making the most of your audio-first content, yeah, I can do it. Big Podcast Amp, let's talk about it. If you like this newsletter, you're going to love Big Podcast Amp. It's the audio monetization program. It is you working with me one-on-one and in a group. It's a personal coaching program. It's going to help you do three things. 1, grow your podcast audience. 2, get people talking about your podcast. And 3, make more money through podcast and your podcasting skills. You can get all the details at bigpodcast.com/amp. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. Want to read more books? A lesson for podcasters. I've got a video. It is about how to read more books. You can find it, newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue 239. I want you to think about this. If you want somebody to do something, show them exactly what you want them to do. And that's what this guy did. Wanted you to read more books? It's for a bookstore, publishing company, whatever. This is how to read more books. Get somebody who reads 1 book a year to read 2 books a year. You have just doubled the amount of books that you can sell. You could do this for podcasting. You want somebody to listen to more podcasts? You want somebody to listen to your podcast? Show them how to listen to your podcast. People don't know. People know how to use a radio. You press the power button. You turn up the volume. There's a tuner. It goes back and forth or around and around and around. Very easy. Podcasting may be easy for you, but not for most people. They don't know how to. But it's easy if you know how to do it. And it can be easy for these people if you show them how to do it. By the way, this concept, showing people exactly what you want them to do. You want more subscribers for your podcast? Show them how to subscribe to your podcast. Make a video. Lay it out point by point. 1, go here. 2, click here. 3, do this. 4, do that. You want more reviews for your podcast? Same thing. Here's how to leave a review. Go here. Click here. Fill in this. Fill in that. A simple screen capture video could easily get you more views, get you more subscribers, get more people to podcasting in general. This is something that, no joke, you could do within the next 10 minutes. You want more thoughts on it? You want to see this How to Read More Books video? I've got them. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue 239. Betty White versus Bea Arthur. A lesson for podcasters. Golden Girls. Remember that? Thank you for being a friend. Da-na-na-na. 3 friends and a mother living in a condominium in Miami. We're talking 30, 40 years ago. It's been a minute. Side note on the Golden Girls. We talk about making pitches easy. The Golden Girls pitch, Miami Nice. Miami Vice, a huge show at the time. What if we took that setting, Miami, old folks' capital of the world, it was at the time, and made it Miami Nice? That's the Golden Girls. That was the pitch. But the truth is, that was just the show. What was really happening behind the scenes, not so nice. the producers confirmed that Betty White and Bea Arthur, two actors on the show, they hated each other. They had an ongoing feud. Some of the things that were said, I'm not going to say them on this podcast because I've got class. You can read the full story, newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue 239. Here's why I bring this up. Working with somebody that you can't stand, especially on something as intimate as a podcast, that can be tough. But it's not impossible. If you're in a situation where you're working with somebody you can't stand and it's money or it's audience or prestige, I don't know. Not everybody's going to leave a situation like that, but you're in one for whatever reason. Let me give you some thoughts on that. The key to success is to focus on the project's goals rather than your personal differences. If you can set clear boundaries, communicate openly about roles and expectations, and keep conversations professional, you can make this happen. I see it all the time in the music industry. There are a lot of bands that on stage, everything looks great. They got banter, the back and forth, probably rehearsed. Off stage, separate buses. They don't talk to each other. Everything is communicated via attorneys. It's not easy to keep really what more or less is a marriage, sometimes with multiple people. Then it gets really difficult to keep those things together. But if you're both passionate about your show's success, if you've got that shared desire to want to do the show, you can often override your mutual annoyance. And these differences, not only can you override them, they can also be creative fuel. Sometimes a little friction that's going to lead to better debates, sharper content, more authentic moments that listeners love. Not something like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Do you have any ideas? Here's an idea. Oh, man, that's a great idea, too. We're just full of great ideas. I mean, sometimes people want a little tension. Tension, when you release it, that's what makes a funny joke. That's what makes a moment that people can feel. I'm not saying that you want to fake that. I'm not saying you even want to be in that situation. But if you are in that situation, you can work with it. By the way, if you are in that situation, I would love to hear your story. Or if you've got any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I've got the link to how to get in touch with me. I've got this link to the full story, all those comments between these two, what Betty White and Bea Arthur were saying about each other. I've got them linked, newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 239. If you want to be president, Governor Gavin Newsom, governor of California, he's got a podcast. And I don't know if it's the podcast itself that's going to help his political career or the publicity from the podcast that's going to help his political career. But my guess is that what he is doing, including this podcast, mean we are going to hear a lot from him in the upcoming presidential election. I think he's going to go for it. I think he's got an opportunity to do it. The first clip they released, for example, that was one with Newsom introducing Charlie Kirk. These two opposite ends of the political spectrum, sort of like that last article that I talked about, what happens when you've got tension. These guys would have it, but this is also what can happen when you make that tension work for you. Gavin Newsom's got a 13-year-old kid, and he told him, he said, my 13-year-old son wanted to stay out of school so he could meet you. And this was the response from Kirk. He said, you canceled school for like 2 years. What's one more day? Do I need to explain that? 2020, COVID hit, schools were canceled. A lot of people on the right, by God, get those kids in school. We need them in school. The more liberal, left-leaning folks, no, we've got to figure this out. We don't want these kids getting sick. It's a funny soundbite. Here's my question. Will yet another Talking Head podcast with two middle-aged white guys sharing their feelings have staying power? I don't know. But it is a publicity opportunity. These moments of tension like I'm talking about, these sound bites, the stuff that's available to you on your podcast, that can be bigger than the podcast itself. So we'll see on this one. But still, a podcast is a great way to get your message out without the traditional big media filter. You don't have to run it up the flagpole. You don't have to go to editing. You don't have to even wait for it to get out to the world. You can hit publish, boom, it's done. It might be the thing that's going to keep Gavin Newsom in front of people. So if you want to be president, maybe you just want to make a living or spread a message. Podcasting, it's a good option. You want more thoughts on this? You want to hear that clip? Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 239. How often should you publish your podcast? These are questions that creative people think about. Actor, how many movies should you star in next year? Musician, how many records should you release? Songwriter, how many songs should you write? Maybe you, If you got a blog, how many times a week should you post your blog? Or how many times a week should you publish your podcast? I ask myself this because I write books. When should I release my next book? Here's what Seth Godin says. He says, a lot of stuff marketers make is unanticipated, impersonal, irrelevant junk that consumers merely tolerate. And I agree with that. That is certainly the way that it was when we had broadcast radio. But really, anything on a major media system, major labels, we listen to what they put out. These days, just like podcasting musicians, they can put out whatever they want. They can do it as often as they want to. It's an interesting discussion because we are right in the middle of it. We still have this major label system, major media system, still cranking out hits, still cranking out big, big media with big, big reach. And an example of this, you think about Fox News, it's in millions and millions of homes. A host, maybe Bill O'Reilly, gets sued for sexual harassment. They settle with somebody, boop, kick him off, put somebody else in, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has issues. He has a problem. Boop, kick him out, put somebody else in. It doesn't matter who the host is. What matters is the slot. What matters is it's in living rooms, millions and millions of living rooms. That doesn't matter. It's a little bit different for us, but we still have that system that we've got to go against. And that is an issue. This is what I said about radio a minute ago. They just want to turn it on and have it work. They don't know how to get podcasts. But once they do, and again, taking it back to something I said earlier, maybe make them a video, show them how to get a podcast, then it's on. And that's your opportunity. So how often should you publish? I don't know. But you do want it to be good, and you do want it to be something that people will not just tolerate because they've got to work too hard to just tolerate what you do. This is not Fox. This is not a major television network in millions of houses. This is not big radio with a huge antenna. This is not network television. This is not a major label record that they're putting everywhere, all over the radio, all over magazines, however they're marketing music these days. It is not that. We do something different. People have to come to us. How often should you publish? That's up to you. I've got thoughts on it. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. This is issue number 239. What do you think of my podcast? How many times have you asked somebody that? Hey, yeah, I just want to see what you think. Who are these people you're asking? Are they even experts? Oh man, just want to see what you think. It's common for podcasters to ask for an opinion. But what most people are looking for, and be honest with yourself, it's not an opinion. It's some version of, oh, your podcast is great. Oh, no, I wouldn't change a thing. Oh, I'm just going to subscribe right now. In fact, not only am I going to subscribe, I'm going to tell all my friends to subscribe. That's really what we want. We don't want somebody to give us critique. We want somebody to give us validation. And it's normal to want validation. It's normal to crave reassurance that your hard work is hitting the mark. Think of the vulnerability of putting out a podcast for a minute. It's tough, man. I'm sitting here in my 5x8 closet, 40 square feet where I am safe. I can say anything into this microphone. It goes into the system to never be heard unless I publish it. And at that moment, boom, vulnerability strikes. When you do publish it, sometimes you don't hear anything. Crickets, man. You start to wonder, do people just not like it? What's going on? And you attach that to, oh, if people didn't like the podcast, they don't like me. So we look for validation. And I got it. I get it. I'm saying you should own that. It's not unique to podcasting, by the way. It's human nature to seek approval, especially when you've invested time and passion into something. You know this because we put a lot more time into our podcast than people realize. Right now, 27:15. That's the time of the raw audio that I'm recording. Give me a time check, Big Podcast Supercomputer.
This is the Big Podcast Supercomputer with a courtesy time check. The current time is 19 minutes and 3 seconds. Approximately 11 minutes and 45 seconds of the raw audio has been removed.
There you go. A lot gets cut out. Chopping it out, it doesn't just happen. Planning it doesn't just happen. Writing episode notes, it doesn't just happen. All this stuff takes time. So we're putting a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of emotion, blood, sweat, and tears into our podcast, and we want something in return. That is normal. Own it. It's okay to ask people what they think, but when you do, don't just chase the applause. When that happens, you're going to miss out on the honest insights that can actually make your podcast better. The real growth, and I'm talking about you as a person, but I'm also talking about the growth of your podcast. That comes from listening to what's said when you ask for an opinion, not just taking the parts that you want to hear. I'm going to finish up with this. I know a couple, male and female. They go to the heart doctor, and there's some kind of heart test. I don't know. It says babies start at 0, and then as you get older, things get clogged up, and your heart gets stressed out, and the number increases. And if you were maybe to get 100, let's say, that's considered a lower number from somebody who's 50 or 60 years old. It's a male-female couple. The man gets an 800 something on the test. Boom! We're out ready to blow, baby. He's going to stroke out here any minute. No. There's got to be some kind of mistake. No, that must be my wife's. They must have mixed the results up. No, they didn't mix the results up. No. Just because you go to the doctor, you got appointments. No, they're not mixing results up. There's ways to keep track of that stuff, man. You just didn't want to hear it. And that's what we do as podcasters. No. We make excuses. No, that was mixed up. It's important to look at the reality. But the reality, taking that feedback, that's what's going to make you better. It's really not as bad as you think. More thoughts on this? You want to see the joke I've attached to it? I've got it. Newsletter.bigpodcast.com, issue number 239. Hey, thanks for listening to Build a Big Podcast. I'm here every week. I've got a newsletter. Have I mentioned it? Newsletter.bigpodcast.com. I'm there via email every Friday morning, New York City time. So whether you like the audio or you like the written word, I got you covered, man. Everything at bigpodcast.com. If you want to subscribe to this podcast, make sure you never miss an episode. That is available to you too. Bigpodcast.com. Go there now. I've made it very easy for you to subscribe. Let's take it back to what I was saying. If you want people to subscribe, you got to make it easy on them. And you can find that at bigpodcast.com. I've got a page. Steal it. It's a one-click method, whether you've got an iPhone, an Android, you want an RSS feed that makes it very easy for people to subscribe. Take it, man. I mean, change it up. Put your podcast in there instead of mine. But feel free to take that, use it as your own. You'll find that at bigpodcast.com. And if you want to work with me one-on-one and in my group of other podcasters that are working just as hard as you are, the podcasters who believe in audio-first content are growing their audiences and would love to have you in there working on your audience as well. You can find that at bigpodcast.com/amp. That's bigpodcast.com/AMP. Thank you again for listening to Build a Big Podcast, and I will see you on the next episode. Betty White versus Bea Arthur. Betty White versus Bea Arthur. Arthur. Damn it.